Welcome to the Pretty Confident Podcast, where we embrace authenticity, own our worth, and build unshakable confidence. I'm your host, Sierra Renee, so let's dive in. Happy Pod Day, you guys. How are you all doing? How are you all feeling? How is your emotional, physical, mental well being? How are all of those things? If there is something wrong and you don't know what it is, start there. Start journaling, start doing something that will bring out that emotion so that you can pinpoint what's going on and figure out how to rectify it. That way, you can start taking notes on if you feel this way again, I know how to make it better. You guys, if you are an avid listener to this podcast, first off, thank you, especially to the OGs that have been here since episode one. If you've gotten on the wave along my podcast journey, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for continuing to come back. And if this is your first stop within the Pretty Confident podcast realm, thank you so much for being here. But today is going to be a very serious episode because I have had the worst couple weeks of my entire life. I can honestly say that. And that is why an episode did not air last week. So I do apologize for not giving you all a heads up if you are an avid listener on this platform, because there is not a time that I have not posted at all. And I have almost been podcasting for almost a year. I started this podcast July 15th, 2024, and it's almost been a year, and I have only missed one week of airing in a podcast episode. And I just want to say, you guys, don't worry about the things that you are not in control of. Meaning, if you have so much going on in your life to the point where you can't show up in a a similar capacity in other aspects of your life, and they're not as important as the things that you are currently going through, don't stress to be in that capacity. Like, don't stress to, put yourself in that capacity, because for me, y'all know I love this podcast because it does something for me. It does something for, I hope it does something for the people that listen. And so I feel like if I was going through those rough times and trying to speak on something too early or try to do this podcast during that storm, y'all would not have gotten good quality. Y'all would not have gotten like a good quality episode. And I'm not saying that you always have to be perfect, you always have to show up and show out. I'm just saying my mind was all over the place. I was not going to be able to focus or talk about anything that I wanted to talk about in the moment of me going through this rough time. And so instead of being confused, instead of talking about something that I probably wasn't passionate about in the moment, I decided to take a step back for my mental health because I was so stressed out and I was having anxiety. I wasn't able to eat, all of that. And so I had to take a step back from something, and life is not going to be it. This podcast, although it is something that I've been pouring my all into, when it comes down to it, I want this to be, one, a safe space, but two, something meaningful to me as well as the people that listen to my podcast. And if I was to come on here and not really have a message or know what to talk about and just be on here just blabbing, that is not meaningful to me, and it's not worth you all's time. And so I am somebody that is big on time. I'm somebody that's big on not wasting time, making sure I capitalize, or I guess like maximize all the time that I have, because time is the one thing in this world you cannot get back. You can get your money back, you can get, whatever you lose back, you can buy whatever you misplaced or buy whatever you already sold. Like, anything else in this world besides your life can be given back to you except for time and your life. I already said that, but still. And so I am very intentional with this podcast. I love what I do. I love the craft. I love the message that I put on my platform. And so I was like, you know what? I am so stressed. So why would I, in a stressed state of mind, get on my platform and try to talk about confidence to people when I don't have confidence in myself right now? And not only did I not have confidence in myself, I was dealing with things that were out of my control. And so the one thing that I could control, which was either doing this podcast episode or not last week, I decided not to, so that I could put the time and energy that I would have been able to, allocate to the podcast towards my situation. And so we're going to get a little serious in this episode. I mean, I feel like all of my episodes are serious, but this is something that was very like daunting to me, and it put a lot of stress on my mind, on my body, on my emotions, everything. And so I do want to open up to you all because I've had my emotions. I've had, I've come back mentally, I feel like. And physically I'm still healing because y'all, the things that have happened have taken a toll on all of the things, my mental capacity, like my mental well-being, my emotional well-being, as well as my physical well-being. So I'm healing, I'm doing better, but ooh, y'all, we got something to talk about today, Pod Squad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and be upfront and honest. We were almost homeless, and when I say me, my two dogs, my boyfriend, and I. And I don't want to say homeless, loosely, because I know we would have been able to go to my parents' house. My twin sister would have tried to make her 2-bedroom apartment work. My best friend said that we could have came and stayed with her husband, their kids. And when I say homeless, just not depending on other people. So if we didn't have anybody in our life that had space or room to, kind of give up momentarily for us to like kind of lean on them, then it would have been a bad situation had I not gotten everything figured out. So let me just take y'all to a few weeks before, and y'all probably will know this story before a few others, but there was an altercation where somebody decided to let their dog use the bathroom in front of our door. And not only did they let their dog use the bathroom in front of our door, they decided not to clean up after their dog. If you're outside and you let your dog use the bathroom out there, like mine, it's okay if you don't want to pick it up. I mean, it's not harming nobody, except for the people that probably, have to constantly walk past it or live right in front of. If you do that in the apartment complex, just let your dog use the bathroom outside around the complex, whatever. But I say apartment complex because I hope when you're taking your dog on a walk in a neighborhood where there's houses and they poop in somebody's yard, I really do hope that you're picking it up, because that is disrespectful. Now, the apartment complex, I don't really care. But in front of people's houses, yes, in front of people's doors, okay, let's be so effing for real. Okay. So somebody let their dog use the bathroom in front of our door on our welcome mat and did not pick it up. And I've had the instance where my tiniest dog, when he was getting potty trained, if y'all know, y'all know, but we were living on the 4th floor at the time. And my tiniest dog was still potty training, but he didn't use the bathroom outside. And so when we were coming in, he kind of pooped in the hallway, not in front of somebody's door, but in front of the hall, like in the hallway. And I took them into our apartment, took the leash off and everything, and I went back out there and picked up the poop, because that is my dog. I know he did it, so I'm responsible for it. And it's in the hallway. TF? TF. So my discomfort is there was 3 different spots your dog used on our welcome mats in front of our door. And not only did they use the mats, the owner never came and picked it up. So there was an altercation when my boyfriend got home, And basically a week later, we get a letter. I get a letter in the door, like pumped up. I'm living my life, soft girl era. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get changed. I'm going to go to the gym on my lunch. That way I could, not have to go after work. I could just relax. This is the last day that I go to the gym during the week. Let me walk the dogs. I opened that door to walk the dogs and a paper fell through. Now, normally I'm like, let's just toss this aside. I'll read it when I get back in. But I was like, I wonder what this is. So I opened it and it was a 3-day vacate letter. And I say vacate because that's exactly what the letter said. And it did, say this is not an eviction notice. So thank God for that. Thank you, God. And this situation could have been a lot worse, but they gave us 3 days from that day to pack all of our things and leave. If not, there were going to be further legal actions taken, et cetera, because the apartment complex got their attorney involved, and that's who sent us the letter. And so on the letter, it said, do not contact the leasing office. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm over here. Like, I can't catch my breath. I'm like, I'm stuck. Like, what would you do if you are going on about your day? You're thinking like nothing's going to come of all of this, nothing. Or you knew there was going to be some type of repercussion, but not to this degree. Right. And granted, this could have been a lot worse, but they just told us, get the heck out. We don't want to see y'all. We don't want y'all on the premises. And if y'all stay on the premises past this date, legal actions will be taken. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse than that. So I do thank God for it to only reach that extent. But for me, I was just so thrown off. Like I said, I was in a great mood that day. I got all of my house chores done, got all of my work done. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, take the dogs on a walk, get dressed, go to the gym, so I can chill. I've been doing good on my little regimen, keeping up with my routine, all of that. And so it's just been so freaking hectic. And I called my boyfriend. I'm shaking. I'm telling him what's going on. He's like, okay, I'm coming home from work. I'm like, no, don't come home. I don't know if they're going to fire you if you just up and leave. So he had a discussion with his manager that he they let him leave, without any disciplinary actions. So that was great. So he came home, I'm crying. I'm calling my best friend, which let me be on clear. Like, I was gonna call my twin sister, but she was at the nail salon and I did not want to call her. Like, that is so embarrassing. I did not want to call her while she was at the nail salon because I don't know who's gonna hear about my business. Like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm not gonna drag her and whoever else is in the nail salon in it right now. I'm not doing that. So I just called my best friend because I knew she was at home. And so I'm crying and she's like, just call your mom, see what she says. So, y'all, I finally did take the dogs on a walk. I come back upstairs. I'm like, ooh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, somebody pitched me. This is not real. I've never been in this before. Like, I don't know. Have y'all on the other side, like, I don't want to say am I overreacting because my reaction was totally normal for my situation and my circumstance. Because I've never been through anything like this. And I'm a big planner. If anybody knows me, I am somebody that plans everything to the T. I did not have any intention of moving at all. And so to be thrown into this and only have 3 days to figure out, one, where the heck are we going to go? Two, we got all these things in here that's heavy as heck. TVs mounted, heavy bed frames, dressers, all type of stuff that need to be taken down, all type of things. Like, what the heck? So I was just thrown into a frenzy. But one thing about me, I'm somebody that's going to get it done, regardless if I have to or not. And so there was no time to sit up there crying, this, that, and the third. So before my boyfriend even got home, I started taking stuff down, like all of the pictures that were hung up. I started taking pictures down. I started trying to clean up as much as I could. I started getting bathrooms together, rooms that weren't being used together, like, y'all. And so I found us another apartment. We applied, and there was so much going on with the apartment. It's just like, oh my goodness, like the number was not the same. And so when I was calling, like nobody was answering, but at the same time, like I'm like, this is the same. number on the website as it is in this person's email that she emailed me from. No answer. And so, moral of the story, we literally got the keys, we got the movers, we got the AT&T people all in one day. Not one day, 2 days, because we got the notice on Monday. And then I was running back and forth from trying to figure out, okay, how can we get this application in? Because let me go ahead and tell y'all, the application process was terrible because we both applied, but to pay the application fee, it was $75, but the app was not, like, the website was not working whatsoever. And the lady was like taking too long to get back to me. I'm calling. And I do not like bothering people. I do not like, blowing people up. But I was like, this is something that has to get done today. If not, I have to figure out something else. So I need to know sooner rather than later if this is going to work. So she finally got it to work. I had to go to the bank, get a money order. Their printer isn't working. So I'm like, y'all, what is going on? I really need to get to the other side of town because at this point, I'm in Nashville at my job because I work from home Monday, Wednesday through Friday. So I'm like, y'all, like, this is the one day I'm in the office and she's telling me I can't use a card or a bank account. It has to be a money order. I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all, I don't know if y'all know how to do money orders, but it's super easy. But to me, I was like, I don't know how to do a money order. That's just something that's added stress on top of traffic on the way home. It was just so much going on. But we finally got that done. And then Wednesday morning, because I'm thinking, okay, we got 3 days, including the day that we got the notice. But I read it again and it said 3 days from the notice, from the day that you receive it. So we actually had it till Thursday. So then it's Wednesday. We get a call. She's letting me know, like, hey, y'all can get the keys today. This is the amount, yada, yada, yada. The AT&T guy comes super early. Like, I scheduled him to come between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why this man show up at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, hey, like, she said I can't even get the key until 11. So if you want to, like, we could keep the 2 to 4. He's like, oh no, I don't have anything to do. I'm good to just wait here until you get the keys. I'm like, okay. But then again, I don't like people waiting on me either. So then that's added stress on top of me having to work. And then two, the moving people came early. I scheduled them for 11:30 to 12 to come between 11:30 and 12. They came at like 10:45, 11 o'clock. So I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody is early. I'm ripping and running, making sure the dogs are out of the way. So finally, I call my sister and I'm like, hey, like, full transparency, this is what's going on. Because mind y'all, we live in the same apartment complex. She's just in building 1, I'm in building 2. So I was like, hey, just full transparency. By the time you get home, you're probably going to see us like moving, yada, yada, yada. So she was like, what happened? What happened? So I tell her everything. And she's just like, OMG, this is so crazy. So then she's like, I'm leaving work early. I'm like, no, please don't. I don't like people taking, doing anything for me out of their way. And I don't like, feeling like an inconvenience to people. And it may sound so crazy, but I just don't like people going out of their way when they don't have to, because this is a situation that we wouldn't even be in had this whole entire altercation not even happen. And my boyfriend did blow up a little bit out of control, and I could have reeled him in, but I was just so tired. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to like go back and forth. And so he just took drastic measures. And my best friend and her husband were both like, oh, like, try to fight it. I said, no, I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough time to try and fight this. If they're saying just get out and we won't we won't press charges or, take any legal actions, I'm just going to go that route. It's fine. They are not the only apartment up here. It is okay. So that was that. But she did get off early. I love and appreciate her for that. I said that I'm going to get her back because when we were watching her dog, when it was, when Roxy was a puppy, she made us baked ziti. It was super, super good. So she made us a home cooked meal. So I was like, I definitely have to repay you because you did not have to come and help us move, because she helped us move that whole entire, like the rest of that day, she was with me. She was helping. We are on the third floor in our new apartment, no elevator, whereas our old apartment has an elevator. So it was just so hectic, but everything worked out. And something that stood out very much to me is the fact that my boyfriend has grown up like this, because we had a conversation, because at first, like, I wasn't showing a lot of like like heartfelt emotions. I was kind of like just stone cold trying to get everything pushed through and try to get everything lined up, as hectic as everything was. But when everything finally panned out, like we were settled in our new apartment, like the time that I'm recording this, we're still pretty new. We're not even a week into our apartment. So it's just as soon as like everything, the dust kind of settled, I just broke down. I broke down. I didn't know what was going on. But my boyfriend like sat me down. He was like, "What is happening right now?" So I told him, I said, "I don't know what brought this on," because I don't know where, like, he was like kind of messing with me, because we kind of play around a lot and take little goofy jabs at each other with our words. But so the stuff he was saying was kind of sticking, because I wasn't in that mindset of playing around, and I don't know, like everything was just thrown off. My mental capacity was thrown off. I was stressed out during all of this. Like, I couldn't eat whatsoever. And this is why I say, you making sure your mental well-being is like in a sound state of mind is no joke, because I never realized how bad your mental headspace, how bad that can affect your physical well-being, because I was not eating. I did not have any energy. Like, I never had those cues of like, hey, I'm hungry, it's time to eat. And so when I was moving and everything, my best friend's husband was like taking me back and forth between both apartments, and he drove into Krispy Kreme, and I was like, what are you doing? He was like, getting some donuts. And I was like, oh. Then I realized, I said, oh snap. It's literally almost 12 o'clock and I still have not eaten anything. So I was getting up, not eating, going to bed, not eating, barely eating lunch, all of that. And not even just that, I was waking up for work shaking. I would have to sit down. I was like overheating when not doing anything. I was overheating. Um, I felt sick to my stomach. I thought I was gonna throw up. Like, one time I was driving into work, and honest to God, I thought I was going to throw up just getting ready, just walking out the door, just driving to work. I remember that morning, but I did not remember getting to work. Like, when I got to work, sat down at my desk, started logging in, and then my best friend came in and sat next to me. I was like, oh snap. Not gonna lie, I've been shaking. I don't remember driving into work today. It was just so. So I say all of this to say, please protect your peace. If stuff happens, it's life. We are not going to get through life unscathed whatsoever. And I also say this to say, let your partner see you at your lowest moments. I was putting on a front all 3 days and then some, so that I would be okay and get things done. I did not have time. 3 days when you're not expecting, like, you're not intending to move, you have no intentions to move, you had no plan to move, none of that. You didn't know you were moving, so you had nothing lined up. That stressed me out to the max. To the point where I didn't know what was going on internally with my systems. I was like, I can't eat. I can't sleep well. I can't think straight. All of that. And my boyfriend was taking like little jabs at me, trying to figure out where I was mentally and trying to seem like everything was okay. It was me putting on a mask, me putting on a facade, me masking what was going on internally, when really, when I broke down, that is what he needed to see to understand the situation he put me in. And then we had a conversation. Like I said, there's a difference between keeping things hidden versus keeping things private. I'm not going to give you all the details, but moral of the story is, he's had a hard life growing up. So all of this that happened, all of this that transpired, didn't really bother him as much as it bothered me, because he always was in a state of, okay, I need to figure out where I'm going to lay my head next. Whereas me, I can literally say I've lived a soft life because I've never had to worry about where am I going to stay, what's going to happen if this doesn't happen. I've never had to worry about not getting approved for something because I've had bad credit, right? And so being in this situation where everything is contingent on other people's actions, not only my own, put me in such a stressful situation, especially with the complications that I had at every single turn. And yes, he paid for everything because he did go off the railing and it is his fault. He paid for everything. But at the same time, it doesn't excuse how I feel. And so for him to see me break down and have that mental explosion because I just couldn't take anymore, this was so much on me physically, emotionally, and mentally. That is when he was able to understand the situation that he put me in and to know that he is not going to put me in a situation like that again. Because if he do, y'all, I'm going to be one single Pringle because I ain't going through this again. But at the same time, this is to let you guys know your partner needs to see you at your lowest, because how does the other person know specifically what you are going through if you don't let them sit in that moment with you and to help them understand why you feel this way? He did not realize that it affected me as much as it did until I broke down. He said, I thought you were fine because you were acting like you were cool. He said, I was cool because I've always been through this. You haven't. And so since you handled everything so well, you handled the situation well, you got everything done while I had to be at work, I thought you were okay. But seeing you like this now, you are not okay. And I need you to calm down because y'all, I was hyperventilating. I was losing myself. But he took care of me those days after because it was just like, dang, I've never not shown strength. And that was something definitely outside of my comfort zone. And that was something that I was like, okay, crying to myself a little bit about outside of wherever he was, trying to make sure he doesn't see me or hear me crying because I didn't have the confidence that, one, he would understand and get where I'm coming from, and two, does this make me look weak and less of, the strong ass woman that I've put on and I've always been? And also to say, like, just because you show your partner this weakness does not mean you are still not a strong woman. You are still not a strong man, because the roles could have easily been reversed. Whereas I was, going through all of this all the time when I was younger, not really seeing like the effects it had on him. But if he was in my situation going through life, never having to have this issue, and it affected him differently, I will not look at him as anything less than a strong man just because he had a reaction to something that I probably put him through. I'm not going to look at you any different. And if you are in a healthy and understanding relationship, your partner is not going to look at you any differently than they already did or do now because of a weak moment. We all have weak moments, but it's how we get through those weak moments and how our partner handles those weak moments with us. Do they brush us off? Do they invalidate our feelings? Do they tell us, get it together, suck it up? Or do they sit there to try to understand our feelings, to understand, okay, did I cause this? If so, how? And after I understand, am I willing to not put you, or am I capable of not putting you in this situation again? Because people that have been through traumatic experiences typically get into this fight or flight situation. This situation for me was fight. But also at the end, it was like, okay, now I need to figure out logically, what am I going to do for my future? Is this somebody that's going to continuously put me in, a situation where I have to fight all the time and, have these survival instincts? Or is this one time temporary challenge instead of a misaligned future? So right now, I decided that this is just a temporary challenge. We are going to get through this. But as soon as I feel like my future is becoming misaligned because of this idiotic or, heated emotions, it may be time for me to hit the fan. hit the dough, hit the road, because this ends up being a destructive path. And not only is it a destructive path for the person that is causing all of this, but it is also a destructive path for the people that are tightly aligned in your life. So all of the misfortunes, all of the terrible decisions that you make are going to negatively impact your partner. And if I was the one putting him in these situations over and over and over again, I would want him to leave me, because you have to do what is best for you. And what is best for you right now is not me, because I am putting you in not only somewhere that you're uncomfortable with, but I'm also putting you on a path of destruction as well, because I keep messing up whatever you have going on. And I told him time and time and time again when this altercation happened, because he was like, I'll reap the consequences of whatever comes after this. I'll make sure I'll take full accountability, yada, yada, yada. That's great to hear. But what affects you affects me as well. And he was like, yeah, but no. I was like, yes, but yes. Everything that just happened because of your heated emotion and your actions afterwards in this heated time made me stressed out, because I was the one at home having to deal with all of this, the aftermath of having to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? There was no option for me to be like, okay, you get out and I'll stay. No, it was both of us. And even if it was okay, that person has to leave and you can stay, I'm going, because you are my partner. You are the person that I chose to do life with. And so what affects you affects me. And so I didn't really jump in his tail, because we had kind of like talked about it the day of, after he calmed down. After the altercation, he calmed down and he was like, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah. And so then that's when I talked. But I was just so tired. I'm not somebody that wants to talk you off a ledge every single time. Do you have that strength, that self control, and that willpower to be like, okay, no, this may affect my partner and it may affect the situation that we're in, because not only were we, not planning to move, but we were also trying to get a loan through the VA. And so it did ask, have you ever been evicted? I don't know what evictions, like what all comes with evictions, but I'm pretty sure my friend told me like it comes with legal fees and it shows on your credit report, all of these things. So I'm like, not only could we have been evicted, but it could have also potentially screwed with our process of getting a home loan, to plant our feet, to, grow roots somewhere and start our family. So not only are you messing up this life right now, but you are messing with our future. And so he finally understands. And I feel like some people learn better when they have to go through it versus somebody telling them. And I love and hate that this situation happened, because I feel like it kind of showed him uh all the errors of his ways and like the consequences of what could happen. And granted, like I said, things could have went a lot worse, right? Like police could have been involved, etc., etc., but they weren't. So I say all this to say, like I said, said all this to say, like I said, one, have the confidence in yourself and your partner to show the weak side of you when you can. Okay, because it is only going to grow the relationship. And you being able to discuss what is going on internally with you, mentally, emotionally, will only build that trust and that intimacy between you and your partner. But also, your partner understands you more. They know what to and not to do, because it could potentially affect you in a negative way. But if you sit there all coddled up, all putting on a facade to please these people and not worry other people, that is when misinterpretation happens, because you are putting on this mask when you are feeling hurt inside. But because you put on such a great mask to show that you are okay, your partner never understands, okay, did I do something? What did I do to cause this emotion? And how can I prevent it going forward? Because I love this person and I don't want to cause this person hurt. I don't want this person to feel bad. I don't want to make this person sad. And so if you don't speak up, nothing will change. So have the confidence in yourself. Have the confidence and trust in your partner. And even if you do have that confidence and trust in your partner and they break it, okay, now you know how to move accordingly. Because what is the point of being with somebody that doesn't want to take the time to understand where you are coming from, understand the past life that you have lived, to understand why you are having such an emotion to something in the present? And also, how are they reacting to what you're saying? Are they dismissing you? Are they invalidating your emotions? Not everything has to be based on fact, but if your emotions are involved, I would hope that your partner has a little bit more grace when it comes to listening and trying to understand where you're coming from. So take that leap of faith, have that confidence to show your partner, I am not okay. Yes, I may put on, yes, I may always be a strong person. 9 times out of 10, I may always show that I'm a strong person. But this one time out of 10, I am not okay. And I need you to understand why. I want you to sit down and take the time to discuss with me so that we can understand what's going on in the future instead of having to rehash things that we already talked about, or alleviate the part of confusion where if we don't talk about it at all, we never understand each other going forward. Do all of these things, and also understand, you guys, that whatever you do, if you are in a committed relationship and you are committed to this person to do life with them, whatever you do affects your partner as well. No matter how much you don't think so. Whatever you do, it affects your partner as well. So those survival instincts definitely had to kick in, regardless of the fact that I've never had to use them in my life. But I knew I wanted to make sure I kept a roof over my head. And not keeping a roof, not having anywhere to go was not an option. Calling my parents up, last minute was not an option. They are not last minute people, which is why I'm not a last minute person. And uprooting my life was not part of the plan. But we got everything figured out. I trust my man to the fullest. He trusts me. All I can do is trust his word when he says he's not going to put me through this again, because he saw how distraught I was even after talking, just seeing it put him through enough. And let's build stronger bonds together. And this is where we start. Not always masking up. Having the confidence within ourselves and our partner to show them our weak moments as much as our strongest moments. Okay, so I feel a lot better talking to you guys, but y'all, I was a wreck, and that is why I did not air an episode last week. So I cannot wait to get back to the normal programming. Yes, things have changed, but I am still the same, just a little bit stronger, because what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So I'm glad to know that if anything hits the fan, I'm going to find a way. Regardless if it's just for me, regardless if it's for me, 2 dogs, him, and potentially kids. But I love this. I love that we went through this time together, because this was a very trying time where I was like, ooh, do I want to stay here? Are you gonna be a down spiral and cause me to lose my job or this or that? Because I never knew what would come out of something further. If legal fees were legal action was taken into account, would I have lost my job? My job is a good paying job. I don't have time to be losing my job over some dumb stuff that I did not do. But at the same time, you have to take accountability for what you did not do. Like I said, I did not talk him out of it, and I had an ample amount of opportunity to talk him out of it. I could have picked up the dog waste that was in front of our door. I did not. I left it for him to come and pick up because he told me don't touch it. But at the end of the day, I did not take actions that I knew could have prevented the situation, and he did not take self-controlled actions to not escalate the situation to prevent this, this whole transaction. So there's accountability to take on both sides. So I don't want anybody that's listening to this to say, oh, she's just blaming it. Yeah, it's all his fault. It's all his fault. F him, we're mad at him for right now. No, because I have some accountability to take in this also. I did not talk him down. I thought he was just bluffing, but he wasn't. And I know my man is very, he don't bluff. I know he's all about what he says, but at the same time, I was like, nah, that's crazy. That's a little too far. He ain't gonna do it. But some people will show you they really about that life. And I know my man is really about that life. So please don't try him. But yes, I have accountability to take as well. Next time I will take the time to talk him down. I mean, hopefully going forward, he doesn't need that. But if he needs a reminder, I will be here even when I'm tired. Right? Because I was super tired. He came in. I was like, dude. He was like, if you want to argue, I don't care. Da, 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 da. Then he calmed down. He was like, yeah. I was like, I did not have the strength or the energy to argue with you right then. So I just let you do whatever. I don't care. I did care. I was just too tired. So yes, accountability on my side as well. I should have de-escalated him individually before things transpired and escalated. And I should have just went ahead and picked it up. I was home before him like an hour or two. So I should have just went ahead and picked it up. But I didn't. I was like, well, he told me not to. I'm going to let him handle it when he get here. Sometimes you have to be the person to handle it because that gives them no ammunition to fire also hard. So yes, accountability on my side as well. And I want you guys to have the confidence to, show that weakness, but also to take accountability in some situations because although some things are not in your control, there are most things that are within your control to not help a situation escalate. And so I didn't take those de-escalating measures. And so this is where we ended up. Yes, he could be a firehead. He could be a firecracker, whatever you want to call it. But I am the person that diffuses the fuse or diffuses the situation or, whatever. So I am glad that this is behind me. It's given me a couple, battle wounds that I can live with and, tell a story to and be able to say we came out on the other end stronger. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is just a great space to talk to. I can't wait to continue on with the podcast episodes. I can't wait till I'm on YouTube visually. Oh yeah, be sure to follow me on all platforms except for TikTok and Facebook. I'm really only on YouTube and Instagram. So Instagram is prettyconfident.pod. Obviously, the YouTube is just the same name as the podcast. It's the Pretty Confident Podcast. Episodes upload every Monday at 8 a.m. I do have episode 62 that I need to upload on YouTube. So I will definitely get that done before this episode airs, but I can't wait to continue talking to you all. You all have been a pillar in my growth, in who I am as a person, who I am in my relationship. Like just talking things out just gives me a different light on things, like give me a different perspective. Like, okay, if I know internally what I'm doing is probably right now, when I listen back to these things, then I can see, some errors in my ways or some things, some places or things that I can improve on. So I don't know. This podcast is just going to continue to do wonders for me, and I hope it's doing wonders for somebody else. Hopefully my story kind of helps other people get through hard times. If they're going through something, you have the strength and the willpower to get on the other side. Nothing is impossible. Whatever you consider impossible just means that it takes a little bit more time to achieve. So I'm going to leave you all with that. I love this episode. Just getting things off my chest, being a little transparent with y'all as always. And, being private, but not keeping things hidden from you all. So yeah, y'all know the situation, but you don't know all the details. So hopefully with that kind of helps whoever is going through a similar situation, gives you the motivation to get through it stronger. And allowing yourself to show that weak side in relationships. Because I feel like as women in general and as males also, we feel like when we show our weak spot or our weaknesses, the people that we're in relationships with may exploit it. But when you feel like you're in a great relationship, you're in a healthy relationship that does nothing but lift you up and help you grow, you should not feel like that person is going to exploit your feelings or, the weak points or the weak times that you had in your life. And I feel like if you think that they will, then internally your brain knows that that person is not meant for you. So then you have to ask yourself, why am I here? If I don't feel comfortable enough to tell this person how I really feel, if I don't trust this person with my feelings or my weakness, then why am I still here? Is it a place of trust issues? Is it a place of, always feeling like people manipulated you in the past? And so you feel like if you did show this person this, it wouldn't, do any good? Or is that person the one that's manipulating you and giving you the trust issues? If so, it's time to go. So thank you all. I feel like a weight off my shoulders. My boyfriend will still have to have a conversation with my parents, even though I've gotten everything figured out and we're good. I still feel like it's a respectful thing. And I was, complaining about the fact that, oh my god, or not complaining, but worrying about telling my parents. But he's like, I'm going to tell them. It's out of respect, because how does it look? I did this dumb stuff and you're the one telling them. No, I'm the one that wants to marry you. I just asked your dad for your hand in marriage. I'm the one that's going to break the news to them. So that just gives me, even more confidence that I have the right guy. And yes, that times are going to get hard. And yes, sometimes you are going to be in a fight or flight moment. But if it is preventable and your partner knows how it made you feel and is going to do everything in their power not to make it happen again, then stay, fight. This one good battle. But best believe, if you feel like your future is going to the gutter because of somebody else's actions and not because of your own, then it is time to go. We're not going to sit around and let people tear us down because we feel so much for them. I love my man, but I love me more. So do what is good for you. But yeah, I know I've said a million times, it's like, when you're leaving a Thanksgiving or a family get together, you say bye about 20 million times before you actually go. So let me go ahead and close it, because if not, I'm going to keep talking. So thank you all for tuning in to the Pretty Confident Podcast. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection. Lord knows it's not about perfection. It's about embracing who you are. But until next time, stay bold, stay authentic, and stay pretty confident. Peace out.